Guys, welcome to another episode of Ultimate Bucket List, and today, I'm in Vegas, baby. Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. Famous for its gambling, its raucous nightlife, its many shows, and a whole bunch of other things that you might have heard of. And the most famous part of Las Vegas is arguably the Las Vegas Strip. 4 miles from north to south, full of nothing but casinos. And I'm going to tell you today what the best way to walk the Las Vegas Strip is. Now, one thing is abundantly clear as soon as you step into Vegas. It's effing huge! The most famous part of Vegas stretches 4 miles and is known as the Strip. This stretches from Mandalay Bay, which is in the south, to the Stratosphere Tower in the north. Now, whilst walking 4 or so miles in one go seems like a tempting prospect, trust me, it's not pleasant. With the desert heat, the traffic, and the fact that things that are seemingly very close together are very, very far away, it becomes a bit of an ordeal to walk, and hence why I'm making this video guide, so that you can walk the Las Vegas Strip without unnecessarily walking more miles than is humanly necessary. And just down the street from Mandalay Bay, you'll find the famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Now, everyone wants to know how to get to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, which is right behind me. Now, if you do come to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, you'll be greeted with queues, lots of them. You probably can't see it, but behind me, there's queues of people, hordes of people, and along this side of the camera, there is a queue stretching towards the car park to get your picture taken. I highly recommend that you get here early, otherwise you're going to be stood in the queue for quite some time. To effectively walk the Strip without crossing the highway several times, we're going to walk from south to north, and then come back down again. And the first casino you'll come across is the Tropicana. As you can tell by the name, it's a tropical themed casino, and it has a reputed history with the mob. But overall, a pretty cool place to hang out, and the table minimums are fairly low. You'll then come across the MGM Grand, and it's one of the cooler places that you can come to. It has one of the biggest gaming floors in Vegas, but that's not its only attraction. Resident show Cirque du Soleil is here, there's lots of famous eateries, some of the coolest night spots in town, and it has the largest pool complex of any hotel in Vegas. Now, the MGM Grand used to have lions as its main attraction, so you could have gone in and see the lions. They don't do that anymore, which is a shame, really. Now, I actually stayed here a few years ago in a room with a hot tub in it, and I highly recommend that you stay here. You'll walk past a couple of places before you get to Planet Hollywood. Now, Planet Hollywood is, as the name implies, it's all kind of movie and famous people themed, and don't be surprised if you actually come across celebrities in this joint. It's a pretty cool place to gamble, and I highly do recommend that you gamble here because, well, let's just say that eye candy is pretty damn good. And it's also a famous celebrity hangout, so don't be surprised if you see Sly Stallone pulling up on a roulette table right next to you. At this point, guys, you'll more or less be across the street from the Bellagio fountains. I highly recommend getting a picture from the other side of the street, on the same side as Planet Hollywood, of the fountains if you can get it from the bridge, but we will be crossing that bit on the way back. The next casino you'll come across, very, very obvious because there's an Eiffel Tower in front of it. It's Paris. Paris. It's a French-themed casino that has its own replica Eiffel Tower. It also houses arguably the best all-you-can-eat buffet in Vegas, and there's lots of French-themed things inside, with its own weather system, so that's actually kind of cool to wander around. And it's a pretty nice place to gamble too. The next two you'll come across is Bally's and Flamingo. Now, these two are a little bit retro from the heydays of Las Vegas. They're both a little on the dated side. In terms of attractions to kind of keep you in the casino, nothing much really. The only thing I would suggest is that they've got nice low table limits. So if you are a gambler, these two are a great place to gamble. You'll shortly be coming across the Link. Now, this used to be the Imperial Palace,
which when I last came was a bit of a dump. But since then, they've updated it, they've renovated it, they've added a promenade full of shops and burgers and eateries and bars, and they've even added this pretty cool Ferris wheel, kind of like the London Eye. It's good to see at night. You'll come across famous Harrah's and Casino Royale. Once again, there's not that much to keep you there in terms of attractions. There's a few shows. I highly recommend the Matt King show at the Harrah's. You'll come across these two before you get to two very, very behemoth casinos, the Venetian and the Palazzo.
The Venetian is the largest hotel in the entire world, and they've clearly modelled it on Venice. And having been to real Venice, I can attest that they got things pretty accurate. They have a replica St. Mark's Bell Tower, a replica Rialto Bridge, and you can ride gondolas through the casino. It's a fantastic place to take the significant other, and I highly recommend that you spend some time in this place, the Venetian and the neighbouring Palazzo.
And they sing to you whilst they're rowing you around the canals. It's pretty cool. Definitely do it if you're with a significant other. You can then walk towards two identical shaped buildings, the Wynn and the Encore.
The Wynn, created by casino magnate Steve Wynn, has the most amazing golf course in all of Vegas. So if golf is your thing, this is a cool place to stay. But I hope you bring money because the Wynn and Encore both cater to the super rich. It's an extremely extravagant hotel, and the table minimums are high. This is a place where you could spend your money in so many ways, whether it's shopping, gambling, shows, or just playing golf. At this point, guys, I highly recommend that you don't carry on walking north past the Encore. There's a few casinos north of this, such as the SLS, which is nice but there's nothing special about it. The Circus, which is a carnival kids themed casino, and it also has its own theme park, and the Stratosphere, which is famous for its tower and being able to jump off it. I made a separate video about it here on my channel, but there's a lot of walking to not see a lot of stuff.
At this point, guys, cross over the street because you're now walking from north to south, and you'll come across Fashion Show Mall. This is a giant shopping mall, and I highly recommend that this is the time that you can refuel, take a break, eat some lunch, do some shopping. Take it easy because obviously you've got a long way to walk back. Treasure Island is the first casino that you'll come to after the Fashion Show Mall.
Treasure Island is a pirate-themed casino. It's famous for its show. Now, the last time I checked, they actually cancelled this show. They weren't actually doing it anymore, so I don't know if things have changed nowadays, but the pirate show is actually kind of cool. It happens outside and mainly at night.
You'll then come across the Mirage. The Mirage is a very iconic hotel, and it's famous for its volcano. Yeah, an actual volcano that erupts nightly, pretty much on the hour every hour.
The Mirage casino floor is nothing to shout home about. The main attraction is its volcano. Yes, the volcano show is actually pretty good, and when it happens, it's hotter than hell out here. It only happens at night, so if you do want to see the volcanoes erupting, you're going to have to come back here round about the night.
Caesars is the next casino that you'll come across, and honestly, it's massive. I've never seen a casino floor this big. You will get lost in this place. It's also famous for its shops, but word of warning, guys, Caesars isn't cheap.
As you can tell from being called Caesars, it's a Roman-themed casino, full of forum shops, high-class gambling, Gordon Ramsay's Hell Kitchen, and Celine Dion. Again, this is one of the pricier hotel casino complexes here in Vegas, so if you do plan on staying here, plan on also bringing lots of money.
So avoid that place if you don't have much to gamble with. The most famous of all casinos is next, the Bellagio. And yes, you know what's coming next.
I don't really need to introduce you to the Bellagio fountains. This is arguably Vegas's most famous attraction, and it's featured in plenty of films such as Ocean's 11, etc. In real life, it's actually kind of a cool show. The shows happen pretty much during the day and the night. At night, it happens every 15 minutes or so, and it's actually kind of cool to get an alcoholic drink and watch the fountains go by. I highly recommend that you come and watch the fountains during the day and once during the night. As for the casino itself, the gambling floor is immense, but the table minimums are incredibly high, so this isn't a cheap place to gamble.
Some of the swankiest casinos are coming up next. The Cosmopolitan is Bling City.
You won't find a blingier, more shiny casino than this. It's a great place to gamble, albeit the table minimums are a little high, and apart from it looking pretty nice, there's not really much in the way of attractions here.
Make a trip down to Aria. You would have seen this casino in various films such as The Hangover.
I highly recommend the Aria as a nice overall casino. It's got a pretty cool pool, it's got a nice gaming floor.
Definitely a good place to gamble, definitely a good place to stay if you have that sort of money. One of my favourite casinos, well, it's actually not a casino, it's actually more of a hotel, is the Mandarin Oriental. Now, there's no gaming here at the Mandarin Oriental, it's just a very nice facility, so if you do get a chance to do afternoon tea here at the Mandarin Oriental, I highly recommend it. As a Brit, we appreciate our afternoon teas, and the Mandarin Oriental does it better than, well, pretty much anywhere in Vegas, really.
What used to be the Monte Carlo has rebranded itself into the Park MGM. Now, I wasn't in Vegas at the time this opened, I saw it under construction of course, but apparently it's significantly nicer than the Monte Carlo that it replaced.
But the next casino you come across, you definitely can't miss. Yes, it's New York, New York.
Famous for its replica statue, very American themed everything, and this roller coaster, which is pretty savage. I must admit, I ended up with concussion after riding this roller coaster, but it was fun.
Cross over the street and you'll get to Luxor, an Egyptian-themed casino resort. It's actually a pretty cool place to hang out.
At Luxor, table limits are low. It's a great place to gamble, and they've got cool things such as the Titanic in Bodies exhibit. It's got shows, all encased in this Egyptian-themed pyramid.
It's relatively cheap, the table limits are relatively low, so if you're on a budget, this is a nice, decent place to spend your money.
Excalibur? What can I say? It's medieval themed. Full of knights, it has a cool medieval show, and it caters more to kids and families than it does the extremely high rollers. You can get decent holiday deals for the Excalibur because quite a lot of people don't actually want to stay here, and I'm not entirely sure why.
And finally, guys, you'll get to Mandalay Bay, which is just across the street from the Tropicana that you started on.
Famous for its fights, boxing, UFC, it's a decent place to gamble and it has a pretty decent pool, but unless you find a strikingly good deal here, it is literally the southernmost part of the strip. And I highly recommend that if you are staying in Vegas, stay somewhere closer to the middle, i.e. the Bellagio and Caesars.
If you're into events, Mandalay Bay is definitely the place to go. Behind Mandalay Bay and behind all of that is the new T-Mobile Arena, which you can see various shows, concerts, and the Vegas Golden Knights ice hockey team.
I actually made a video about it right here. And it'll also be home to the under construction Allegiant Stadium, which will be home to the Las Vegas Raiders American football team. I highly recommend that you check that stadium out because it looks pretty damn immense.
And that's basically your guide, guys. Start from the south to the north, have a break, and in the evening, north to south. I highly recommend north to south in the evening because the main attractions such as the volcano, the pirate show ship, and the fountains look infinitely better at night than they do during the day.
Okay, Nin, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you need to come here to Las Vegas. When you fly into Las Vegas, you'll probably come in at McCarran Airport, which is located literally at the bottom of the strip. From there, you can take either a taxi or a shuttle bus to whichever hotel you're staying at. The cost to walk the strip? Obviously, it's free, but bearing in mind, if you do decide to spend money along the way, i.e. if you decide to gamble or buy alcohol, etc., that's obviously going to cost you a bit of money. So where do I stay when I'm in Vegas? I've actually been a few times now, and I can attest that staying at the MGM Grand, Planet Hollywood, and Luxor all provide decent value for money stays. If you can afford it, stay at the Bellagio or Caesars, as these are located slap bang in the middle of everything that's decent about the strip. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes, when you walk down the strip, everything looks like it's a 5-minute walk away. I guarantee you, it's not. It will literally take you all day to walk up and down the strip, and considering you're in the middle of the desert, it gets stinking hot. So if I were you, I'd take plenty of breaks, go into some of these casinos because, they have air conditioning, and make sure you're properly hydrated and wearing comfortable shoes because if you don't, walking the Las Vegas Strip can be like walking through hell. Oh, and if you don't feel like walking the Strip, you can either take the monorail, which will stretch from MGM Grand all the way up to SLS on the right hand side of the Strip, or you could take the buses that run up and down the Strip, which are these buses known as the Deuce.
Hopefully, if you follow this, you would have seen pretty much all of the Vegas Strip in about a day. And remember guys, Vegas is a massive place. Don't think that you can walk all of this at once. Take plenty of breaks, wear comfortable shoes, and drink plenty of water, because not only is it a big place, it's effing hot out here. Guys, if you have enjoyed this episode of Ultimate Bucket List, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Comment on the comment section below, and if you've got any ideas for other bucket list ideas, any questions, tweet them at me. And if I get enough suggestions, or if I get any questions, I'll be sure to try and answer them for you. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Miles. Private jet ruining my audio, just bear with me a second. The next two you'll come across is Flamingo and, I don't even remember, Jesus. And seeing it at night where it's all illuminated. And another jet is ruining my audio. If you're an event person, sorry, burped mid-sentence there, that wasn't very good, was it?